I've been looking for magic mushrooms for quite a while. About a year. I purchased some, but they were fake and did not affect me. I was bummed out. Then I finally found someone who said they could get me some cubensis that were the best ones you could get around here. I was skeptical, but boy, these mushrooms were potent. I picked them up and he sold them to me. I was going to wait for the weekend, but I ended up doing them just last night. It was a Monday night. I was like a little kid, I couldn't control myself. I'm going to try and explain this trip as best as I can remember. This trip was around a 4 out of 5 at the peak and a nice 3 for the beginning and ending. So I decided I couldn't wait until the weekend. I grabbed a glass of orange juice because people said it made you trip harder. I was expecting the mushrooms to taste very nasty because I read they tasted nasty and they looked pretty nasty also. But surprisingly, they weren't that bad. Kinda good, actually. The caps for me tasted a little weird, not bad or anything, but the stems to me just tasted exactly like sunflower seeds. I chewed and downed them with orange juice. I drank an extra glass of orange juice right after. I knew I was going to be up till like 4 on a school night, but it was definitely worth it. I felt extremely happy. I started laughing for no reason at all. Everything started to look alien and more vivid, I can't describe it. Things in my house got much more interesting looking. My pupils were getting slightly bigger. I wasn't tripping yet, I just felt extremely happy, and colours were starting to look much, much brighter. I was so pumped and happy that they were working. Then the mushrooms really started to kick in. Not tripping hella hard yet, but the mushrooms were taking control of my mind. They kept getting stronger about every 10 minutes. Stronger and stronger. I was laying in my bed and I started to look at my door. I was so happy. My door was alive. It was breathing like a human's chest, going in and out. It was like the thing had lungs. About 50 minutes after eating the mushrooms, I started to trip. I could still grasp reality though, but things looked warped. Almost everything I looked at looked like it was alive, moving and melting kinda. But I hadn't lost reality quite yet. I was having a blast, just looking at everything in my room. The colours just kept on getting brighter and brighter. My brain then started thinking about very bizarre things. This is when I realised I was going to have a very fun time. I was already smiling so much, just looking at my room. I started thinking about life, and how in the day-to-day we never realise how beautiful it is, how something as simple as light reflecting from the carpet is just so amazing. I was tripping now. I could still comprehend reality, but it started slipping and slipping as the mushrooms got stronger. My mind was thinking about so many things, bizarre things. All at once, I was already having the best time of my life. I decided to get out of my room that was alive and go on the computer. When I opened my breathing door, my house looked beyond bright. Glowing colours. Traces are like lines of light everywhere. It was amazing. I was beyond happy. It was like I was seeing the world brand new. I went downstairs acting serious because my mum was still awake watching television. My eyes were messed up. I had, as some might say, shotgun barrels for eyes, pretty much all black now. I got onto the computer. By this time I lost all sense of what I was doing. A couple of minutes seemed like months or even years. I was on Facebook and was talking to my friends. I said a lot of dumb things to a lot of people. I was talking to this girl on Facebook. This is where my trip turned semi-scary. Not bad, just kind of freaky. I was glad she was on though, because I was tripping. My computer screen wouldn't stop warping. It was such a hard task just typing. I was also looking at amazing Alex Gray galleries. He does CD art, a brilliant artist. His paintings looked so amazing. They were leaking out of my computer screen. They were moving, breathing. They were alive. But this is where my level 3 trip turned into a 4. My computer screen started to swirl non-stop. I couldn't read anything. I couldn't see anything on the screen but mashed liquid leaking and melting off my computer. The scary thing was I kept seeing a shadow man dancing beyond me, touching my shoulder, and I was too scared to turn around. It was pretty freaky. I was out of reality at this moment. The mushrooms also kept getting stronger. Finally, I turned around. I was mad at this shadow. He kept annoying me. As I turned around real fast to see what was behind me, the shadow man was gone, and I was amazed at what I saw. This video game chair I have, like the one that goes on the ground and you can rock back and forth on it, was glowing so bright. The zebra stripes were vibrating out of the chair onto my wall, snapping back and forth and swaying. I cried a little, but it was happy crying. It was so beautiful. I can't describe how it made me feel. Also, this whole time I was tripping, that shadow was on this world to scare me. As my trip went on, I became best friends with the shadow. I had my brother come into the computer room. I told him I was tripping hard, and he was just laughing and said, "Is it a good trip?" I kept saying yes. I was looking around the room, just tripping out. His face was kind of warped also. But the funny thing was, he looked like an orange. His skin was literally bright orange, dark bright orange. His skin texture looked odd. At about 10:40, I decided I should get upstairs. The mushrooms started getting stronger. I didn't want to get caught by my mom, so I walked upstairs. But before that, I grabbed a Mountain Dew so I could stay up late and just trip. I grabbed two, tripping balls walking up my stairs which seemed so hard to walk up. The steps looked as if they went on forever. I had an insane body high at this time also. I could feel my skin tingling from the mushrooms. I was laughing and thinking about so much stuff. My mum went to bed at this time, so I went into my brother's room. I talked to him for like 40 minutes. I loved life so much and I was telling him how much I love him. I just wanted to chill with my brother for the rest of the night, but he had to sleep. And my mum couldn't come up and find out why I was talking to my brother this late. She would have found out I was tripping. I went into the bathroom before I returned to my room. I read a lot from people that mirrors can be quite scary when you're tripping. But for me, I really liked it. It felt like I was looking into myself. I could see myself in the future. I could see other places. I felt like the whole time I was tripping, I was looking for positives in everything. It was amazing. My face was melting and warping and moving, but it didn't scare me at all. I was reflecting on my life for quite a while. I tripped in the bathroom for a good 10 to 20 minutes, just looking at everything, talking to things, loving life. From this point on, my memories start getting quite blurry. I still had the same feeling, things breathing, things connecting to me. Lights are bright as hell, traces of light, moving patterns. I had some odd closed-eye visuals also. I can't describe it. No way I can. At times I couldn't tell if my eyes were closed or open. Then for some reason I felt that I needed to get out of my clothes. They felt negative and too hiding of our true selves. So I took all my clothes off. I wouldn't have done this in public. Well, I don't really know because I was tripping hard. I don't think I would want to trip in public though. I felt so connected to everything. I could feel every emotion in me. I was thinking about how pointless being negative and holding grudges are. I was thinking about life in general and how everything is connected in some sort of way. I also felt like I was finding myself, my true self. I was butt naked in my room just tripping, happy as can be. I started watching George Lopez. It made me mad. George kept pissing me off. In the show he was dirt poor as a kid, but knew he has a family and a beautiful wife. He treated her so badly, and it made me so mad. I was thinking about how I would treat her if she was mine. Then I started thinking about relationships. This time was kind of depressing. I was thinking about how relationships come and go, and how love is real. You just need to have it in you. It started getting late. Surprisingly, I was not tired at all. I was happy. Then I quit watching television after one last episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That show was pretty funny. TV seemed fake to me, but it was funny. I realized how ridiculous it was. Around this time, I had the same feelings as prior. I was still at level 4 for a while. My reality was gone. I laid on my floor, talking to my carpet. I wanted to go on the roof of my house, but I decided that was not a good idea at all. And I was right. That was a horrible idea. I wanted to go outside so bad, but I couldn't. My mom would hear me. Next time I trip out, it's definitely going to be in the woods. I started listening to some music. It was beyond amazing. My walls formed holes and I fell into space. I was peaking. It was intense. I listened to a lot of music from this point on. The sound was amazing. Shadows were my best friend. I was forming shadows in my hands to the music. It was absolutely breathtaking. I realized that me, falling into space, was not the last of what these amazing mushrooms did. I looked outside, just tripping, watching the trees melt and form into other stuff. I was crying. Then the most amazing thing happened. I placed my face on the window. My face was glued to it. Then it felt like my skin was melting off my face, like liquid going upward to the top of the window. It was breathtaking. This was the most extreme moment for me. It felt so real. I then found myself. I knew who I was again. I was connected to everything in this world, to life, to people, to emotions and senses. At about 4 o'clock, I went down from my level 4 trip to a level 2 fairly quickly. I felt so happy, so relieved I found myself. Things were still warped, slightly moving. My pupils started to turn back to normal. I got a slight headache. Nothing bad, though. I looked in the mirror for a good 10 minutes, and I was so happy and relieved that I found myself in this world. I listened to a couple more songs, ending my amazing night with music. I then fell into a deep sleep, having crazy dreams. And that's it. That was my experience with shrooms. I'm so amped for my next trip, and I hope it will be even better than this one.